more for independent cinema in the United States than anyone since Cassavetes. And if you don't know who John Cassavetes is, that'll be, we have the 29th, we're looking at 2 more films, and then on the 5th we'll do something for fun. I'm just kidding. You know, and Greg and I spoke about the fact that we'd like this kind of screening thing to continue. Because I was saying to the people who helped set up tonight, you know, one of the things that's sad, is just a quick sidebar before we jump into the debate, is there just doesn't seem to be enough space in Bombay to screen films like these, which is unfortunate. So hopefully one day we can remedy that altogether. But Anurag Kashyap deserves a lot of credit. Because he's worked in and out of Bollywood as a dialogue writer, he's worked in and out of Bollywood as a director, but he's always used whatever little bits of money that have come his way and contacts that have come his way to plow them right back into his films. And like most filmmakers, he wasn't doing it for the money, because God knows if we were doing it for the money, we would have definitely never chosen this line of work. So I give him a lot of credit, and like I said, if you don't like Ugly, if you don't like Gangs of Wasseypur, if you don't like his other films, that's irrelevant. You have to recognize what he does for the craft and what he does for the emergence of filmmakers here. And also to give him even further credit, not to pay homage to Anurag Kashyap, but he has turned around and he does produce films like Udaan. He is involved with projects and launching them. He's at the genesis stage, and that is something that also is very, very true of the new wave. For instance, Abu Dasouk, which is sort of like the seminal first film of a Nouvelle Vague, Breathless, by Godard, was actually written by Truffaut. It was an idea of Truffaut's that Godard took. Okay, so I guess one of the things that I want you guys to look at, and tell me if you saw it, was, are there any similarities between Dev and Pierrot? If you know, does anyone know? I mean, who here has not seen either of these films in their entirety? Okay, all right. Those of you who have seen their films in the entirety, I apologize. We're going to ruin the movies if you haven't seen them. Too bad. We're going to ruin it. All right, but tell me something about the similarity between the characters. Why would someone choose these 2 films? Yeah.
So here they're showing a lady.
Please, by the way, real fast. Do not call me sir.
I do not know your name.
My name is Jeff.
Jeff. All right. See, Jeff, here in the French movie, they were showing one lady and cheating between 2 men, married men, and revolving around them. And here they are showing one boy after the girl, but the girl is after another boy. And in today's picture, you said the difference is, at that time they were making films for middle-aged people, 30 to 50 years. Today the Hindi films are making for 14 to 28 years. For Hindi films, love, sex, romance are shown around trees and gardens and parks and all balle balle. Now the songs are leading directly to sex, and now they're openly showing it. Okay. Because all rapes are taking place around. You can clearly see it.
Okay. Let's try to stay away from the rape thing. But yeah. First of all, I mean, what we see is sexual infidelity in both films, and we see how that plays itself out. But look at the characters of Pierrot and Dev. Because here's the other thing: is both films are named after Dev D and Pierrot le Fou. Okay. So let's start there. Let's talk about Pierrot. Who is this guy? What can you discern from what you see? Okay. What do you guys got? Tell me. Just throw out anything. I don't care. All right. I'll help you out. He's a Parisian, and he's probably middle class, upper middle class. Go from there. Yes. Totally eccentric, but he's French, so that goes hand in hand. Yes.
Very artistic and bored.
Yeah, he's artistically inclined. I wouldn't say that he's an artist himself, but it's involved. It's a good word for it. Okay. Anything else you got about Pierrot?
And he's bored.
What?
Actually, I have studied a little bit of cinema.
Okay.
So when I watch Breathless, I understand.
I barely understand it myself. Okay.
So the thing which I found common between Pierrot and Breathless was the characters shown by Jean-Luc Godard is usually the same. A cigarette dangling from the mouth, intense characters. One does not understand. So I understand when I was watching Devi. At the beginning of the movie, we are not actually understanding how these characters are portrayed. But as you see the movie ahead, you actually go intense into it. That okay, this is what is the movie.
That's a really good word. That's a really good word for both characters. They're both intense.
So it is colorful.
I told you, man.
Jeff.
Shit, thank you.
Colorful scenarios, pictures, and picturizations.
Right. They're both colorful scenarios and picturizations. But let's stick to Dev and Pierrot. So we got a middle class guy, all right, who is artistically involved. I'm sorry, what did you say? He's eccentric. Okay, but what else is Pierrot? What is his problem? Okay, when we deal with actors, when I deal with directors, I tell them to look for the motivation. What's Pierrot's conflict? What's his problem?
That he doesn't know.
What?
One
second, I'm sorry. What is it? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
More passionate, less conscious.
Right, he's bored.
I said that.
You did, I didn't hear you, you gotta speak up.
I said that.
All right, okay, but he's bored. He's bored. He's got this boring Italian wife. She's boring. He's got these boring kids. He's got this boring Parisian life. And in walks sexy, tall babysitter, who he happens to know. Okay? So his life suddenly seems like it could take on adventure and fun. Okay? And he tries, in this boring bastion of his life, to create an adventure. That is a very young person thing to do. Right? Let's look at Dev. Dev, who's he? Now you guys know Dev much better than you know Pierrot, because culturally you get Dev. All right? You might even know Dev in your own life. But tell me really quickly. All right? Tell me about Dev. What? Confused. But let's talk about this. All right, is Dev poor or rich?
Rich.
Rich. Right. Is Dev what we would say in America? He's got a golden spoon.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So Dev's got a golden spoon. He's getting high. He's asking for nudie pictures. And Dev has the same problem as Pierrot. He's what?
Bored.
He's bored. He's bored. And Pierrot and Dev are doing the exact same thing, which is
Sex.
sex. Yeah. Well, hey, we're all having sex. All right.
Adventure.
What's that?
Adventure.
Exactly. Out of the people in their lives, they're trying to create adventure. And here's a really important question. And this is a really important question if you know the rest of the film's coming. All right. Do they care who they hurt along the way?
No.
Not at all. They don't give a crap.
I think both the characters have a little bit of narcissism in them as
Are you kidding? You're the most narcissistic two going. Absolutely, go on.
They place themselves above all the other characters that are portrayed in the film. And I think that plays an important part as well in those characters.
Absolutely. They're both incredibly narcissistic, and they're both incredibly egotistical. Okay? Egocentric, egotistical. Because I'm from New York, I use a different word, but I won't use that word, okay? Because of an A, there's a hole involved, that's my point. All right? But they're boring. They're jerks. They don't care who they hurt, right? They're not mean-spirited. Mean-spirited is somebody who's going to do something evil and wrong. They're not like that. They're just taking the chess pieces in front of them and shifting them and playing with them and knocking them down just to see how everybody reacts, right? But also, like all truly narcissistic and egotistical people, what can't they stand? Think about Dev when he gets angry at Paro. What? Not infidelity. It's not infidelity. He could care less. Are you kidding? He's busy, pumping the girl from Delhi left, right, and center. All right? And if she wasn't from Delhi, it wouldn't matter. If she was from Kashmir or Gujarat or from Bangkok, it doesn't matter. All right? He is not interested in where she comes from. As long as she's in front of him, ready and willing, he'll plug himself in, so to speak. But here's the thing. He gets mad at Paro for what reason?
His ego is hurt.
Ego's hurt. He's selfish. Both Dev and Pierrot, all right, if they were little kids, you know what you call them? Brats. They're both brats. They want what they want the way they want it. And, right. And they don't want it to cost them anything. Okay? And the films go on, for those that have seen both of the films, what happens? What do both characters discover in their trajectory? Not necessarily their lives. All right? It's of course that we're always discovering our lives. Films are essentially about the discovery. Okay? I heard a very smart actor once tell me, very recently, that there was no longer creation in this world.
That the
only
lady,
discovery.
the ladies that took them to a path, and then and they themselves also became adventurous, so they couldn't take it because they were adventurous towards them. But the ladies took them to a path, and they became more adventurous than them.
True, but they think early on in the films, they think that their actions are without consequences. What do they discover?
That
Consequences.
they actually care about something.
They care. Right. that there's no free lunch, like we say in America. There's no free lunch. All right, for every action, there is an opposite equal reaction. So, as directors, Godard and Kashav choose two characters who are not terribly far away from themselves, probably, okay, and who put in play a game, who use people and real lives and circumstances to their advantage. But these narcissistic, egocentric people wind up losing. Those are both Dev and Pierre Wood. Now let's talk about Anna Karna's character and Paro. All right, this is a very, very interesting topic, and I notice that there are a lot of ladies in the room, so I'd like to hear from you, which is, how are these women portrayed? This is a big question in film, and I'll get to why in a moment. But how would you say that they're portrayed?
Fascinating.
What's that?
Fascinating.
Fascinating. What do you mean by that?
They are fascinating for the man who loves
Right.
them.
Okay. That's what we call in film, okay, in film theory, okay, there are three strands to film. If you ever go to film school, you can pick one of the three. There's filmmaking. That's how you make it. All right. There's film history, learning about, you know, who did what, when, and what color underwear they were wearing on the day they shot the film. And then there's film theory. Okay. Film theory is an entire school of thought where basically what I like to explain film theory is when you watch the film, you put a lens over your eyes and you are looking for one particular trajectory to the film. So, if you're looking at film theory, when we're talking about women, it's what we call the male gaze. Anyone got a guess as to what the male gaze is? How a man looks at a woman. That's pretty much its definition. Okay, but think about it, let's put it in cinematographic terms. Put it into the terms of film. All right? Yes?
It's how we as a viewer take on the, you know.
As a matter of fact, it has nothing to do with the viewer. Okay? It has everything to do with the filmmaker. Unfortunately, world over, okay? Unfortunately, ladies, it's not just in India, it's the world over. Directors are overwhelmingly male. Okay? I teach at the School of Visual Arts in New York City, and the minute I get a female filmmaker, I celebrate her. Okay? I teach at the Lee Strasberg Institute, and I have lots of actresses. So here's the, in the film schools where you teach filmmaking, it's all boys. In the acting world, it's all girls. And I keep telling my girls, make movies. All right, you want to burn your bras? I'll burn them with you. All right, let's go. All right, girl power. Okay, because the problem is that directors are overwhelmingly male. And when men write women and when men film women, it is through the lens of their observations. Ladies, would I be fair in saying, and I'm not a girl if you haven't noticed, would I be fair in saying you get it wrong most of the time? Yes. Carefully, everybody, you're not a girl.
Should I talk about it?
No, please go right ahead. No, what happens is that the minute a director and a cinematographer, the cinematographer, for those of you that don't know, he or she, occasionally it's a she, is a person who sets the camera. They do the lighting and set the camera. They're the person responsible for the image. Okay? And when they set that, because it's overwhelmingly a male-male relationship, they set that in a way where sadly, unfortunately, women are objectified. Okay? And we see a lot of that in Bollywood, unfortunately. Hollywood is not much better. All right? I heard an interview with Megan Fox when she was doing Transformers 2. Apparently, Michael Bay's note to her, the director, was not learn good acting, don't learn your lines. This was his note to her. Look hot. That was his note to her. All right? Or let's say, yes.
Actually, they are creating a longing for the woman.
Yes.
And
That's what the male gaze is all about.
Because,
So-
because males had the money, the finance part. Now the females have it, but that time the males had, and so they would take the women to the movies.
I'd say even today.
They're
But-
creating a desire.
They are creating, so yes, they're fascinating.